right, so after a long hiatus, we're back at it with the newsletters here in the studio at Klemic Performance Method. I'm Dave Klemic. This is Josh Holsupple. We'll start off with our announcements. Number one, first and foremost, we have the summer camp open. It's not a camp. It's our same setup, but we are open for registration. So if you go on our website, you'll go in and look at summer program, whether it's college as a different program than your regular new student and an existing student. So if you're a student of ours within the past 6 months to a year, you're an existing student. So you go right to there, and you just don't have to do the full panel gate analysis. You just have to do the half panel. New students are all they're going to have to go through the full process like anybody else. We do allow you to shorten it over the summer because we know we probably won't have you there for 12 weeks. Some people we will. But we'll probably be at about an 8 week minimum. Mm-hmm. So that's it for the summer. Next thing is we have a phenomenal special treat for you in the podcast with Tim Watson. Just talk about powerful for a second.
Phenomenal. I would definitely check that one out and definitely have your kids watch it as well. All the mainland kids come in here and all the past Cedar Creek kids, we work with a lot of them. They just talk about how influential Coach Watson is and how, meeting him and being coached under him has been a game changer for them mentally, going into college, finishing out the rest of high school, and a lot of his lessons carry right over into life and success and how to handle harder situations and how to handle rough times. So it's definitely worth watching that, having your kids watch it, and we're going to have him back on for more in-depth talks and teachings into the mental mindset of life and sports.
And the special part of it all is that we are hiring him as a consultant on here to try to show our practices and what we can do to make them more intentional. Therefore, we get better results from them. So, if you're getting influenced by this man, you are a blessed person. So, and the last thing is our email newsletters come out. That's student driven. Our students are writing this. Besides the announcements that I'll put out, you'll have an opinion piece on there. I will have my announcements on there, but everything else is run by the students. Very cool, fun speed read. I've been doing it since 2006. Brought it back when we opened up Oceanside, and then we kind of left it by the wayside, and now it's coming back pretty strong. We have a lot of kids now that they want to be heard. They want to hear their own opinions, which are cool because it's coming from not from us. It's coming from the student on what these subjects are, which are cool because some of the sports science stuff, we understand it because we do this nonstop. From a kid standpoint, it's completely different. Even the interviews to our athletes of the week or the month, they are also done by the students as well. So look out for those things, and we'll be right back with an athlete of the week and one of my favorite songs. And we're going to talk about one of our favorite students, Craig Walton. LSU. Yeah. He is a defensive back at LSU right now and walked on, made it.
Yeah.
You making it as a walk-on is a real testament because he had to sit out the whole fall the first time. He goes in in a spring ball, and they take him on. You talk about a kid that works hard, and you talk about a kid that will put his heart into a workout, not just like his body, but his heart, and he'll help others around him get better. So.
Yeah, Craig is high character, high focus. We knew right away when he told us his plan to go down there to Baton Rouge and play for the Tigers that it was going to work out perfectly. You just tell, but if you ever come in here and you ever have the chance to watch him work, his energy is contagious, and the workouts that he's in, whether he's in there with a lot of younger kids, because he is a college kid, so sometimes the schedule's a little fluent. He doesn't always get to work out with kids his age, but he comes in here and he just, shuts the place down. Like, everybody's just like watching him work, seeing his intent, seeing his effort, his positive attitude. We always joke around and say infinite potential. That's kind of Craig's line. I'm like, Craig, what is today? He's like, it's day filled infinite potential. So, we're so excited to see him play. I saw a couple clips from him in spring game running corner on some kids down there at LSU, and I have no doubt that he'll play in the 4 years that he's there. He'll be a special teams guy probably this year, work his way into the starting lineup and rotation probably next year. And, college is crazy because a couple injuries happen, and, he's athletic enough to suit up and play, I think, at the SEC level. So we're excited to see him, and he'll be back in the summertime, lighting it up in here, probably dropping some hop times with some big jumps.
At first, I did not agree with him going to LSU. I said, why don't you take the scholarship going somewhere else? He's like, no, this is what I want. And I'm like, geez, okay, go for it. And now he made it. I wasn't sure, but once you see him work, then you're like, okay, he's got a shot anywhere. It doesn't matter. And but we talk about character. of the utmost.
Mm-hmm.
I'm around a few people that just, they're making themselves better, but then he just exudes that to other people.
Oh, yeah.
It's great. So anyway, Craig, we love you. We're so proud of you. You and Eddie down there. One of my best friends is Eddie Kennison, who works in, he's got a big boy job down there at LSU, and loves Craig too.
Yeah.
Loves him. They hang out quite often. So anyway, we're so proud of you. That's our Who Dat Athlete of the Week. Was our Athlete of the Week. Now we're going to go into really what goes on inside the four walls of this building. And so let you, since you've been writing most of these workouts right now, and you've been developing them, let's go over a little bit of mass specific force and what that's all about and why that applies to what we've been doing.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, great athletes have a high amount of MSF, and that means mass specific force. So what we're trying to do with all of our athletes, and any great performance coach, in most occasions, depending on your position, obviously offensive, defensive linemen in the football field need to be weighing a little bit more, but skill position guys and multi-directional athletes where weight isn't really a factor, what we're trying to do is create the most efficient athlete possible, meaning high neurological drive, high force outputs with minimum weight. So we can create a higher MSF ratio. So if you weigh 150 pounds and you start out at 200 pounds of force, we want you to weigh 150, 151, 152, and then put out a ton more force on 300-400 pounds of force compared to your body weight. So that's what all of our programs are really meant to do, and that's what happens, man. We elicit a fast twitch fiber response that increases that MSF level. Now, the second component to that is expressing that force and recycling that force efficiently, which is revolves around your elasticity, or what we like to say is like the rubber band system within your body. Most kids come in and they're very thin rubber bands that, they expand fast, but sometimes they pop and you have force leaks into the ground, and not actually pop tendons, but we like to explain it like that, where they pop and then your heel strikes the ground and you can't recycle force efficiently. So over time, we really develop that connective tissue through a lot of different elasticity-based movements, so that when an athlete puts a lot of force in the ground after we increase their vertical leap, they can efficiently recycle it and then put force in the ground again, and then recycle it and put force in the ground again. So now they're operating at a higher speed and accelerate better, but they're also a better conditioned athlete because now they're not having to recreate and regenerate force over and over and over again, which is very common for football players, especially because they're more so weight room dominant kids. They're very powerful, and a lot of them will have good vertical leaps, but when it comes to running, they have poor recycling and poor efficiency, so it really hinders how good they can be. And this week we went to a very high level of movement, which is a 5-jump broad jump, and Coach Dave knows this inside and out. The kids are blown away when you start talking about it.
Yeah, one of the things that we have been doing was we did a 4-week series on broad jump for distance. On average, we were seeing about a 2-foot difference on the back end of 5 jumps. So that's it's worth about 4 inches per broad jump, and then recycled. And then you do it again. This time, next 4 weeks is for the speed of the movement. And if we've already did this is the second week, and we're seeing drops somewhere between a tenth, and this is in 15 yards. You're seeing drops within like a tenth to 2/10 of a second right now. Some of them a lot more, but let's just say like an average, like what we expect. And we want to see like about a half a second drop off of this over the course of the next 3 weeks. And the reason why they're doing that is not just because they're more powerful. They're going to be a little bit more powerful, but we're correcting some asymmetry. As the legs move off the ground, they have to move simultaneously. One is going to be a little faster than the other, so you can only move without splitting your legs as fast as your slower leg. So we need that one side to catch up. So we'll work harder on the opposite side, or we'll work on the non-dominant side to catch that up. And we know that we can at least get them back up to where the other leg is. We know you're capable because you're already doing it on the other leg. So if we fix that, then you're moving as fast as your fastest leg. Now you can run. Now you can do this faster. So you're not lagging on one. But that is one portion of it. But also the elasticity of the movement, super, super important. People forget that. Some of the greatest runners that run maybe under 200 meters don't have to have the lowest body fat or the best cardiovascular output. They just need to be the most efficient runners. They don't even breathe at the end of it. You can see them. They're just kind of hey, had a good race, whatever. They barely expended any energy, so they can carry more body fat and more mass because they're so efficient off the ground. Now, once you get into the longer races, you have to have no body fat because you have to be super efficient. But it's really the elasticity and the bounce process that we use in thickening the rubber bands, like we said. It was they're built. Your your rubber bands or your muscles, but you also have collagen in your Achilles tendon. All your tendons are made out of collagen, and those things thicken, and they actually make those rubber bands have something real sturdy to pull from.
Yeah.
So they're not kind of giving and, we can say leaking energy. But yeah, great creative week, a way to use numbers, and we use a lot of math.
Yeah.
Math is really important in here. We're doing percentages of resistance, percentage of your jumps, times, and I think as we measure, the more and more we measure and see it over time, you're going to see that we compound that with like other things, as far like that's a great thing that we do, but also now with the little bit of Tim Watson, who's creating a business plan out of how intentional we are with our reps and sets, and try to be more time efficient. Even with the way you tie your shoes, and we said, it goes down to everything you do. So, but great week. That's what's going on in the four walls of this building, and then we'll have an exit announcement right after this. All right. Breaking news. Just found out we're going to be at Bayfest, set up with vertical jump testers here, where you can come over and see us. I know everyone's going to be at this thing. It's our hometown thing. It's where everybody from Philly thinks that we're cool for a day.
Yeah.
That and like maybe the lifeguard races or whatever. But yeah, or a battle at the beach. But we are going to be at Bayfest with our testers. You come over and get your vertical leap tested, and we'll have a contest there. Highest vertical leapers and stuff will get whatever prize that we set up. We just set this up right now because we will be on the boardwalk at all campus this summer. So this is kind of be how we're going to kick it off. And so we'll be down there with the testers. Come see us, and we'll have some fun and maybe win something.